League Insider. I'm here with Trey Wingo and Ron Jaworski. Trey, I wanted to talk to you about just the history of the game, and a lot of people don't realize you go back to early in the game when we used to have it on NBC and ESPN, all those things.
Yeah, a long time ago. I mean, before I even got to ESPN, I was doing Arena League games in the 90s for the St. Louis Stampede.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
going back a
we're
little bit.
going a ways back. Earl Bruce was the head coach of the St. Louis Stampede, Ohio State player anyway, was one of the owners of the team. So he brought in Earl, and we had to transition to a more throwing the ball part of the arena. So I go way back.
Another fantastic connection to the Arena Football League, Trey Wingo, the man.
There you go. I try. Thank you.
Last question, just talking about you doing the NFL now, you see the draft. Let's talk about just some of the talents that come from the Arena League, and just being able to, if you can't find a guy in the draft, we have the veteran combine and things like that. Some of these guys that have been battle tested in the league have sharpened their game, like Kurt Warner and some of the other guys.
Well, I really think the best skills from the Arena League translate to the quarterback position from the Arena League, because you have to have the ability to make split-second decisions and make those throws into tight windows. There are no tighter windows than in the Arena League. And I think that's why you've seen some success from some quarterbacks, most notably Kurt Warner of the Iowa Barnstormers. Been to that place. By the way, Leonard Conley was on that Iowa Barnstormers team in the 90s with Kurt Warner.
Bringing some
formerly
names back.
I did mention Hunky Cooper, right?
Yes,
He's one of the greatest names of all
Legends
time. So, yeah, I think that's why we see quarterbacks play so well and do well, because of the skill set that you need in the Arena League is exactly what the NFL is looking for.
And Trey, when we talk to players that get involved in the Arena Football League, we talk about the opportunity that the Arena League presents to get to the National Football League. I mean, it's fast-paced, it's hard-hitting, it's pass rushing, it's catching the football, it's pass protection. I mean, all those things that players need to do, the Arena League gives them that opportunity that they might eventually get to the National Football League.
Absolutely. It's a great training ground, and it gives you an opportunity to prove yourself, and then it's up to you.
AFL Insider. I'm here with former NFL quarterback, ESPN analyst Mark Brunell. Mark, I want to talk about just some of the things that you've seen of the Arena Football League. I know it's back on ESPN, and just some of the things that you like about the game.
I tell you, I love the game, and gives an opportunity for a lot of young men to continue their football dreams and be a part of a team and winning. It's an exciting game. It's fun to watch. Very fan-friendly. I love going to the games and seeing the guys compete and play hard. These guys play with so much passion and so much enthusiasm, and it's exciting to see. I love arena football.
Now, with guys, around the league, guys like Ron Jaworski and some other guys that have, played the quarterback position, just talk about some of the similarities and some of the advantages of a guy coming from an arena system, kind of like Kurt Warner, and just learning just those little nuances to kind of speed up his process and his throwing ability.
Sure, absolutely. There are a number of guys that are playing in an arena that have NFL potential, I believe. Kurt Warner's a perfect example, a guy that kept the dream alive, worked hard, obviously played at a very high level in the Arena League, and got his opportunity. And I'm sure there's a lot of quarterbacks right now that are hoping for that same opportunity. Kurt went on to have a Hall of Fame career, one of the best to ever play the position, and in part because of his time in Arena. And so it's exciting. It'll be interesting to see who the next Kurt Warner is out of the Arena League, but I'm pretty sure there's someone there that's keeping the dream alive, playing at a high level, playing good football, winning football games, and who knows, they might get their shot at some point.
Mark, appreciate it. Jason Jones, Arena League Insider. I'm here with ESPN's own Ed Werder. Ed, I just want to talk about just some of the growth that you've seen in ESPN as a brand and as a company throughout the sports media world.
Well, in terms of, television network sports, I think ESPN is the most visible brand in the country, and everything it touches seems to benefit from association. That's why every major pro sports league wants to be on ESPN Air and have ESPN contracts. Obviously, there's a benefit beyond the actual televising of the game itself. There's all of the Sports Center segments and NFL shows that are going to pay attention and discuss and debate, report on it. So it's beneficial in a lot of different ways to every sports league to be a part of ESPN's got now with the Arena League.
I see you've done some work down at school in Colorado and down in Dallas. Those are two markets we like to get into. I didn't know if you knew anything about those teams out there.
Well, I remember that covering the Cowboys as I have for so many years. I know Jerry Jones owned the Dallas Desperados, and Clint, what was his name?
Dozell. Yeah.
Clint Dozell was a guy I actually played golf with. He's very good at golf, and he was a player and a coach who's had great success in the league. And Jerry obviously is a very smart business guy, and his involvement in that certainly only helped promote it. In fact, he had Joe Avisano, who was the Cowboys special teams coach during their Super Bowl era, was the head coach of that team. I remember Jerry letting Joe Avisano get on his plane, his private plane, to go from Cowboys training camp to go coach the Desperados somewhere else. So there were a lot of great stories like that, and we've seen players go from that league to the very pinnacle of success in the NFL on occasion.
Arena Football League Insider. I'm here with legendary coach Herm Edwards, ESPN. Coach, in the Arena League and as well as outdoor football, there's going to be a premium on the passing game and defending the pass. And I want to talk about just some of the key elements you need. I know with the draft coming up that you look for in a cornerback.
Well, first of all, I look for instincts. It's something you can't teach. And basically, it boils down to a couple things. We can talk about hip movement, we can talk about feet, we can talk about speed, but at the end, it's all about instincts. It's all about instincts as well as taking the proper angles to compete at that position. And I played corner in this league a long time. And you have to realize there's going to be guys faster than you, going to be guys bigger than you, but how you compete and the instincts as far as playing the football are critical in the league. This is a passing game. Arena football, they score 60, 70 points an outing. And the one play you might have to make to win that game is critical. And so I look for guys that can play with their back away from the quarterback. In other words, the ball is being thrown and they don't see the ball being thrown, how do they react? And that's critical for me, because two things happen. Either a defensive back panics and he obviously hits the receiver and becomes pass interference, or the next thing that happens is he never plays the ball and he has an opportunity to take the ball away. I've always said this about good defensive backs. I love guys that knock the ball away, but I want guys that take the ball away. When the ball is thrown, it basically has no one's name on it. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's a free pass. And so guys that have instincts, you always see them making big plays. And that's what defense is about anymore. It's about taking the ball away from the offense and giving it back to your offense so they can score points.
Well, the last thing with our league is a smaller field, so the dimensions of the field change some of the angles. But just give me one or a couple of tips just on facing that motion. And, you got a guy running at you full speed.
Well, motion is very difficult. It reminds me a little bit of Canada football.
Yeah, exactly.
It's condensed field. And I think this, when you're a defensive back, the critical part is knowing this. There's always a leverage side. In other words, the side that you know that I have to take away this leverage side because I'm not getting help over here. I'm going to get help somewhere else. Now, obviously, there's times when you have no help at all, and the easiest pass to complete, obviously, is something over the middle, and so you have to guard against that. So, when you play defensive back, you have to realize, look, I got to make sure this quarterback, when he throws the football, it's going to be on point. I can't get flat out beat. If I get beat, never get beat to your leverage side, because you start off with a leverage point. Am I playing him inside or am I playing? There are only two ways to play the guy. You play him inside or you play him outside. Eventually, one of those sides are going to show up. Which is the side I have no help? Arena football, no different than pro football. The boundary always helps you. It helps you.
At the wall. Yeah.
No one helps you in the middle of the field. If you don't have a safety, you cannot get beat in the middle of the field. They can throw outs all they want. The wall will help you. It's got to be a better throw. The easiest pass for a quarterback is over the middle of the football field. So these are the things that obviously when you play DB, hard position. It's one of those positions that I know this and playing it for so long. You have to have selected memory. Whatever happens to you, whether it be good or bad, you got to move on to the next play because you know what? They're coming after you.
Coach, you're one of the best outdoors. How you think you play indoors? That motion run out.
I'd be fine indoors.
You'd be fine?
Oh, yeah. I can play on the slot. I'd be okay.
The slot, that guy running at you?
It's all in the slot receiver.
Yeah, okay.
How you defend the guy is very important. As I go, it goes back to leverage. It goes back to your ability to stay patient and build a wall. You never give a guy a free release. In other words, once you flip your hips before you make contact, you're giving that guy a free release. The key is you always stay square, use your hands, use your feet, and as he comes, and when you attack him to the fact that I'm going to take the leverage side away, and then from there, if he beats me, so be it.
Appreciate it, Coach.
It's just sometimes I feel like I'm wide open downfield, and you won't get me the ball.
Always open.
Cedric, who has the ball right now?
Damien has the ball.
Damien has the ball. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is just look downfield more often.
See, this was good.
This is Jason Jones, AFL Insider. I'm here with Super Bowl champion Ike Taylor, Swag University. Ike, I know with the NFL draft coming up, you're doing a lot of work and research on some of the guys. And just talk about some of the DB plays and some of the characteristics you think are vital for a DB.
Lateral movement, getting in and out of your breaks. We was talking about this earlier with Greg and Mr. Ron Jaworski and I, and pretty much yourself, man, just coming out your breaks. I know a lot of guys get caught up in the straight line speed, your 4.3s and your 4.5s, but can this guy run a 4.3 cutting out his break? Can this guy be able to run fast straight ahead and stop and come out his break? Reaction time is key. Short shuttles are also key. Letting me know how the guy's footwork is. So, man, for the most part, just that lateral movement as a DB, especially when the ball is in the air, as far as like tracking the ball, is also a key part. If I'm gonna take out one aspect, it's gonna be lateral movement when it comes down to being a DB, getting in and out of the breaks. Right.
The AFL Insider Show is brought to you by Jaworski Signature Golf Courses, Jaws Youth Playbook, and the Arena Football League.
Jason Jones, AFL Insider. I'm here with Super Bowl champion quarterback, longtime NFL veteran Steve Berline. Steve, with the NFL draft coming up, I want to just talk to you just so, the quarterbacks at the top of the draft, obviously, just some of the characteristics you look for in a quarterback other than, just the natural throwing ability.
Well, there's a lot of things you look for. I mean, you hear so much talk these days now, especially with the character issues, that you really have to be comfortable with the kind of person that you're getting. You're investing in a quarterback, especially at the top of the draft, a guy that you're hoping to build your franchise around for a lot of years, and so you gotta be confident that guy can step up and come through for you both on and off the field. The physical skills are a big part of it, obviously. But you got to make sure that he's got the right kind of personality. He's going to be making good decisions, both on and off the field as well. But when you start breaking it down, there's a lot of different styles of college quarterbacks coming out now. In order to translate to the NFL and really be a successful quarterback over time, the quarterbacks now are a lot more athletic all the way around across the board, and mobility, I think, is very important. But it's not the most important thing. The bottom line is to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. To win Super Bowl championships, to get your team those opportunities, you've got to be able to make plays in the pocket. You've got to have a really good pocket presence, the ability to buy extra time in and out of the pocket. But really, your money's going to be made. You're going to win ball games, big ball games, by whether or not you can stand in on the third down situations under pressure and deliver the ball in tight windows on a regular basis. If you can do that and consistently be there to be counted on by your team, by your coaches, you're going to have a chance to be a successful quarterback in the NFL for a long time.
And we know with the NFL draft, there's just less than 250 picks, and there's thousands and thousands of guys looking for those jobs. Just talk about any of the benefits of guys going to play in the Arena League, or to be able to sharpen their skills, especially at the quarterback position. That's such a premium nowadays.
Right, and it doesn't happen very often, that guys will kind of slip through the cracks and get an opportunity to play somewhere else at a different level, whether it be the Arena League or there aren't many other options out there right now. But the Kurt Warner story does happen once in a while, and there are guys that benefited from different opportunities. Back several years ago was NFL Europe. Guys like Jake Delhomme, and you go down the list, Kurt Warner was a guy that played over there as well. The Arena League, I think there are benefits to playing at that level. Number one, it keeps you playing and competing. But number two, that smaller field, with the way that game is played, I think you can become a better quarterback playing in that kind of an environment. Now, you're still going to have to be able to translate it to the real game against the big boys on the big field. But I think that if you're a guy that still has ambition and desire to play in the NFL, there's absolutely no reason why you can't go hone your skills and get better playing in the Arena League.
That you wish you knew before the draft.
Now, this past month, they had the NFL Veteran Combine, and there's some some guys that had their draft class come and go, and we have the Arena League in Canada, some different other places where some talent may emerge from. Is there any process to to evaluating those guys that make it harder or easier, to find a potential NFL player?
Well, I think the more film you have, the more exposure you have on somebody, the more people that have coached the player that you can kind of get an inside sense of what the player's strengths and weaknesses are, the better. But it's a very inexact science. So, you get the most information you can and then trust your instincts and the collective wisdom of the people you got working with you, and then hopefully you get it right.
Jones, Arena League Insider, here with ESPN analyst and former NFL player Louis Riddick. Lou, I want to talk to you about just some of the things you look for as a talent evaluator for guys coming out of college.
Well, actually, it always starts with character. It always starts with makeup. That's really what separates people in the NFL. Everyone's pretty much talented if you're taking the time to look at them. Everyone usually has the requisite skills that you're looking for, and it's important. But really, what makes people great, what makes people Hall of Famers, what makes people bust out of the league, has to do with what their mindset is and how they're wired. That's the thing that I don't think enough time and attention is paid on and paid towards when you're talking about scouting players coming out of college. So it's something that I think I myself have really tried to take to another level now that I'm not even working in front offices anymore. It's just what makes players tick, what makes them want to be great.
And last question. As a former NFL scout and director of personnel for two different teams, anything that you've noticed or looked at from guys coming from the Arena League that have stood out to you, that the abilities and talent to transfer to the NFL?
Well, I think one of the things that you wind up seeing is the skilled players in particular is where, in my experience, especially when I was back in NFL front offices and now thinking back on it, the skilled players are the ones that really draw the most attention because, it's pretty much a passing league, right? Teams are you're trying to defend the whole length of the field every play because teams are throwing the ball all over the place. And so guys are used to being put on islands and having to win one-on-one matchups. So it's one of the areas that we always focused on. It's obviously had some very good success stories as far as quarterbacks and some of the skilled players. So I think that's what you'll see NFL teams focus on going forward is those skilled positions, quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back.
It's Jason Jones, AFL Insider. I'm here with the quarterback guru of the NFL and former Arena League quarterback George Whitfield Jr. George, I want to talk to you about just your time in the Arena League and just the experience and the exposure that the league is now starting to grow back again with ESPN.
Jason, without question, it taught me a lot. What the game calls for you to do as a quarterback in Arena, the speed, the quickness, the instincts really truly is the bigger part of it, has just expedited my knowledge of the position. And when I watched, coming through there, then you watch what Kurt Warner was able to do in the NFL. He's not an incredible athlete, but his instincts were, as the kids would say, on fleek. The dude was quick with his hands, quick with his feet, and more importantly, quick with his eyes. And for me, just as a young guy trying to, play out his love for football, Arena, and more so Arena 2 just gave me that opportunity. So I got a chance to run that out, meet some great coaches, bounce around some different parts of the country and really just be a part of something. And now I get a chance to forward all that information on that I've learned from all these different unique coaches and men, for kids that are going to play above Arena League. So Arena was transformational for me.
Just last question. I know, just talking to Jaws, he likes the idea of guys that, want to get drafted in the NFL and playing those prospects. But for those guys that don't make it, instead of, just working out, just being able to stay active and be able to play the game and learn those techniques and those throwing motions and those quick tweaks, ideas that, the Arena League brings. How do you feel about a guy that doesn't really quite make it in the NFL on his first shot, being able to play in the Arena League?
Well, you got to ask yourself, why do you play? Are you playing for the love of the game, or do you play for what the game could possibly bring you? If it's for the love of the game, you're going to chase it to the end of the earth. And to get a chance to play in Arena football, it's a nationally televised stage. You can go all over the country. You're right there. You're one big performance away from getting that call. But so many opportunities, so many lessons, so many chances to build yourself as a man, as a player, as a brand. A lot of big time guys come out of Arena football. going from arena rock star to NFL rock star. And I just think if the love of the game is in you and you're still physically capable of going, I'd go to arena. I'd be in an arena camp tomorrow if I could.
George, I appreciate it.